I am Jermaine. It cuts across from the other walks of life. Found it simpler to respond to that one because in case someone calls me, I don't want to have to remember what my alias is. Though you normally go with a couple of monikers here and there. One point I used to be called the Mad Genius. Right now I go by the J in jamming. You have to understand, to me, DJing, first of all, is an art. It has different interpretations for different days, for different moods, for different people. So as a DJ, you are supposed to put on a show. Where I say unpredictability, that literally means you wouldn't want to watch the same show twice unless it was really, really that good. That probably only exists in theater. When it comes to me, I offer you the possibility of maybe even having the same music or the same playset, but every experience is a different one. You can never guess where you're going. You can never know what's going to come your way. So at the end of every night, it's a different experience that has been influenced by a lot of things, the people, culture, and whatnot. And that unpredictability, like I said, there are two things, is fed off versatility. And I think for me that is what makes it key, the unpredictability, which for me feeds off the fact that you can see the people, you read the emotions, you read their needs, and as an entertainer, as a show, you deliver to them. I always tell people the most difficult performance I would have to do is if you put me in a room where I can't see the crowd and you told me play, but I know there's a crowd out there dancing. I wouldn't know what to play next. I wouldn't be able to read the crowd. I wouldn't be able to know which direction to sway them in. It makes it a bit difficult, makes it a bit tricky. But I think at the end of the day, you have to realize DJing is it's a client-based service. The client has to derive satisfaction from what you do, and this cannot be measured and say in this number of quantities or this is what they have done and put together. No, it can only be derived in how much joy or passion they pick out of the night. Now, that has to be you and them working together. I've always had a penchant for music. I've always loved music. Right from the time I grew up. I had a nickname in the family. They used to call me Mahina Mabi, which translates to bad dancer. But until an uncle of mine explained to them, which later on I think made sense to me, said, no, he's not a bad dancer, but he has too many strokes he wants to execute at the same time. So, you know, you can imagine transitioning from that, and then at some point you did dance and you've been in the music. So I think it just grew on to me. I derive more joy giving the music than actually receiving it or listening to it. It makes me, I think I get the same not amusement, but satisfaction. The same that people get when they actually come out to listen to your music. And for me, one of the best things that can happen to me is someone sending me a message and saying, yo, you rocked last night. I think first of all I must say in this particular industry a lot of it is reference, and that's why I normally have a saying that says you're only as good as your last performance. If you weren't good, irrespective of how much, for instance, someone will walk up and say Jermaine is good, that one day you find him probably on his bad day, that's a report you go and say, he's overrated, he's not that good. So you're only as good as your last performance. I started off in Cascades, played there for a while. I'm just going to try and run those off the head. A couple of them will definitely slip out through the cracks. We did Cascades, I did Club Sway before it closed. I did a bit of Effendi's, then came back to 9 Degrees, somehow found my way into Rouge. And all these would be like one-offs. There was a small place in Chisasi called Palms. It's no longer existing now. I think that's where I got my real solid grounding after Cascades as a house DJ. And after that, I flew out to China for about 5-6 months. I was DJing at Club Galeon in Hotel Intercontinental. Big, amazing architecture. It's shaped like a pirate ship. It was real good stuff. Big experience on that end as well. So coming back, picking the game up again was a bit tricky. So it really had to go down to who knows who and who do you know. That's the time I was finishing up at the university. And that's how I ended up at the now defunct Alfredo's. I think that was my heyday. I spent about 4 years at Alfredo's, and we turned Kampala on its head,
I remember.
more or less. After after Alfredo's, I took a bit of a break. You do a one-off, but you don't like really have a tied down spot. When that got done, started running around with a few Chadondo, Route 256, once in a while Legends, then Valhalla right now, which is also still running, and many other spots. But I think it was at Valhalla that I got in touch with, or I got to meet the Almost Famous DJs, the directors. Came once, twice, liked the feel. I was playing with the Konk Muchiga, one of the people I really looked up to, and I was shocked he regards me as an equal. Every now and then I keep saying, I don't think I've made it there yet. A very, very decent gentleman. So that's how I got in touch with the Almost Famous DJs. Almost Famous DJs at that time were pioneering the silent disco in Uganda. And that took me on road trips. I'm pretty certain if I haven't played in a place, it would probably be northeast Uganda. That's Karamoja area. That's the one place I'm certain I've not. But name it. Chisoro, to West Nile, Arua, to Paida. I was in Paida recently, to Mbarara, several places in Kampala, in Tebe. Played on a boat. I'm about to play on a plane shortly, I think, or something of the sort.